Okay, I think we are good to go. Yeah,
Awesome.
Amit, welcome.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see you. And as we were just talking, and I said we might repeat ourselves. Uh, First of all, we got Amit Bhuta here from Miami, Florida. We were just talking about how they're dealing with their coronavirus stuff as well. But Amit, I've known you kind of in passing for a while now because we're both clients of the same marketing company, Curator. But you and I have never really connected personally, and so that's why I'm so excited for this call because I'm really interested in seeing how your mind works. I love seeing your videos, your content, and especially in the kind of market you're in, which is sort of high end luxury. We have some of that here, being Hilton Head and the beach and stuff, but nothing like probably what you guys have, and nothing even approaching probably the price points either. But can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background?
Yeah, love to. So yeah, like I followed you as well over the years, and it's nice to talk like this now. So COVID's given us, I guess, some blessings, right?
Mhm.
So I've been in real estate 16 years. I worked at Coldwell Banker 11 years. Then I worked at Sotheby's for 3 years, and I've been at Compass for a little bit over 2 years.
Okay.
I was a single agent for a while. Now I have a team. There's only three of us. Jade is 24 years old, and Will is 25, and me, I'm 51. So that's a little bit about our team. I guess our average price point is like 1.2 million. Even though that's the price, we still have rentals from like 1500, and we'll have very expensive listings as well. So we sort of try and do it all if we
hmm
can.
hmm Great. Now you're from India originally, Mumbai, correct?
Yeah, actually, that's where I was born. It was called Bombay when I was born, and they
Yeah.
changed it later. And yeah, I lived there 9 months, but I think like with many cultures, when you leave the place, you still keep the culture. And I've lived in the U.S. since I was 4 years old. Lived in England for 3 years.
Okay. Okay. Fantastic. And what brought you and your family over to United States?
So my uncle moved from India earlier than we did. This was since we're old, we meaning me, my family, and stuff. He probably moved in the 60s or something. He went to University of Michigan. He
hmm
became an aeronautical engineer, lived in California. My dad at the time was a doctor in England, and he said, "You got to come to the US. It's amazing." And that's why we came.
Great. Great. Well, kind of taking off why we're having this conversation. I've noticed over many years now your video work, your marketing, your real estate marketing. First of all, you mentioned most of your family's a doctor, right? Or
Yeah.
doctor, or married to one.
Yeah, we're either a doctor or married to a doctor. There's like eight of us like that.
So what happened to you?
That's I often get asked that question. I'm the black sheep. So I did finance in college. My goal after graduating high school was to become a stockbroker. I don't even know if those exist anymore. I guess they're financial advisors. So after I graduated, that's what I wanted to do, but life happened and things changed, and I was never a stockbroker.
Okay, okay. So real estate was the next natural choice, right?
Actually, it was a little bit different. After I graduated college, a friend of mine, and Laura and I, we went to FIU, Florida International University, and she saw
hmm
an ad. This was like in '92, so the market was completely different than back then.
hmm
And the ad said college degree required, salespeople wanted, guaranteed salary for 8 weeks. And we went for the interview and we found out it was to sell cars. And we're like, wow, we went to college to sell cars. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but long story short, I ended up working there 11 years. I was a sales manager, finance manager. In the beginning, I sold cars for a bit. And it really helped me develop as a person and helped me with my sales skills, my communication skills. And I was really lucky to have that job.
I always say that knowing how to sell is the precursor to a successful real estate agent. Because I'm the broker and I can teach somebody how to sell real estate, but it's very hard to teach somebody, I think, how to sell if you're natural at it. You know, you can't necessarily make someone a salesperson. So that's cool. Tell me a little bit about your market, because I see some of your videos and these homes are just, they're amazing, they're incredible, and you get to work in that every day. And your average price point is 1.2. Ours is probably 350. So, you know, maybe a little bit higher now, but not much. So tell me a little bit about where you work and what your business sort of looks like.
Yeah, so we try and do business a lot different than the average agent. We pretend that we are the people that are seeing our stuff aren't people that are looking to buy or sell real estate now. We want to create a brand, and we imagine that someone is on their computer or on their Instagram or Facebook or whatever they're on the internet, and if they happen to see our video or our written piece or our podcast, would they stop and pay attention to it? And we always do our marketing in that respect. And we know we're lucky, like we sort of do what people see on $1 Million Listing. You know, they'll have these cool parties, they'll deal with celebrities, athletes, and have these, you know, amazing homes. So we want to share that story with people because most people are interested in that. Most people don't care about my market report if I tell them that this home was the average days on market is this, or this many properties sold cash, this many sold finance. Most people don't care about that much, except a very, very small percentage of the people. So we always try and do our marketing in a fun, interactive way where they feel like they're part of it.
Well, that being said, let me just kind of throw a little clip of a video you guys have done, and then we're going to take a deep dive into it. So I want to hear about how you guys actually accomplish these things. But just to give people who are watching some sort of idea of why we're even here. So let me try not to blow anything up and do a quick screen share with this video. And this is the Caetus Sogni, I think. I'm butchered that, I'm sure. So before we actually play that, tell us a little bit about this listing and what you were trying to accomplish with this video before we get it playing.
Yeah, so this was a pretty cool story, at least for me anyways. So this customer connected with me from next door. They had seen some of my posts and they connected with me. Their house was about $6 million, give or take. And they were interested in thinking about me listing it because they saw some of my other stuff. I went to the house and it was beautiful. It had a really, really nice tennis court. So like, I don't know how many of you know this, but when a developer creates something, if they're developing a lot of properties or homes, many developers, if they're good at it, they want to create something special about that property to differentiate it from others. So with this property, it was new construction, it had an amazing tennis court. So I thought, okay, I want to spend a lot of, so let me go back a step. A problem with many agents is they look at the ROI on the property rather than on their business. So in this property, and we don't always have the chance to have an amazing property to highlight to help us with our marketing. So with this property, I knew I would have that opportunity. So what I wanted to do was create a story, the before, during, and after. So what I did is at that time, I had a friend. He's a really top-notch videographer in California. He's worked for the NFL, Pizza Hut. He works for like these amazing companies. So I thought at that time it would be pretty cool if I started creating like sort of engagement to like a teaser. And I said, I'm flying in my videographer and his crew from California to create a video on this amazing home. So I did that. I documented everything like Gary Vee always talks about. And long story short, after doing this, I spent, you know, you guys are going to think I'm crazy, but I spent like around $20,000 on this house. And what happened is I didn't sell the house. So a lot of people would tell me, wow, that's ridiculous. You didn't sell the house. You spent that much money. They feel bad for me. But because people have seen the marketing, I've gotten 16 million in business from it. So it's always the ROI on your business rather than on the property. Hopefully that answered some of your question.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. And these are definitely high production. So let's just take a quick look here on this, and hopefully everyone will be able to hear it.
We can hear it.
Great. Yeah, man, that's incredible.
Thank you.
That's awesome. So what does it take to produce a video like that, make something that polished? Clearly, this is as far as you can get, as unpolished, what we're doing right now. And that is Hollywood type shit, for lack of a better word. It's awesome. So tell us, how does that work? How do you even start that?
Thank you. So I think the first thing I did, and I went on Curator's Mastermind, and I asked a few people. I picked a few people's brains on what can we do for the storyline. And there's an agent named Shannon, and Shannon gave me the idea of what to do. And obviously, the videographer created the story, but he used that as an outline of what to do. And also, one of the things that's difficult is finding the actors, the people, and all that. And so in this case, the people in the video, the tall guy was a client of mine. He used to play in the European Basketball League. He's 7 feet tall. His wife is the mother in the video. She's the FIU tennis coach. She's the women's tennis coach. She used to play professional tennis. And because they had connections to some of the top tennis players that were juniors, we were able to add all of them. The older girl that was a tennis player was the #1 ranked player at FIU. So we were able to get all the people together. With the videographer and the crew, I think it's when we do business, I think the main thing with marketing is you have to ask people their ideas and really vet them, look up what they do, and speak to them for a bit and see their work. And by doing that, you'll be able to, it's like, imagine, the best way I could say it is, imagine you're getting married. The amount of time and effort you're going to vet the videographer, do the same thing with the person for the home. I tell my clients, the sellers, that their sale is, to me, is their wedding, and I'm their wedding planner, and I want to make sure everything goes perfectly without them knowing, and there are things in the background taking place. And so it's not that difficult if you find the right videographer, and it's not hard to find them. You can just go on Facebook and just ask a bunch of people. If you don't know what to do, you can go on Instagram. You can look up different hashtags, and you'll see the work that the people do. As far as the production, that took 3 days. It took us 16 hours. I had to go to the store, Target, buy some of the props and stuff. But I documented everything as we were going through it. And because of that, I was trying to build up an audience, and people were interested in seeing it. We had thousands and thousands of views. So it really helped. It's not that difficult. If anyone needs help, in more detail, I'll be happy to help.
Well, it's very impressive. I mean, for a realtor to go and create something like that. I know you're using professionals, but to have that vision, and of course, thanks to someone else who gave you the idea to begin with, but you still had to flesh it out. Curious, the people you got to volunteer, do you have to pay them anything to be in the video, or how does that even work?
The funny thing is, like, I thought of this. So I thought, if I can hire models and stuff, but because if they're doing it regularly, it's not going to mean anything to them. But if I can get regular people off the street to act, they're going to feel like they're a celebrity that day. I interviewed them after they did it to make them feel special. And even though they didn't want anything, I gave them all money. I gave them Amazon cards. I did everything, even the kids. Even the people that didn't have a big role in it, I gave them all money, and they felt, because it's okay. It feels nice to be like a celebrity for a day, to get paid to be in the video, but to actually get paid for it, it makes it seem more real. So yeah, it was fun, and I did pay them. I paid them each a few $100. You don't have to pay people, but they had so much fun doing it. And the reason too why it's someone off the street, it'll go more viral because they're going to share it with everyone.
That makes a ton of sense, actually. And it's good to know that you can get, because they look, I mean, obviously they were good tennis players, or, but it looks like they knew what they were doing. So that's good. That's good to know. You talked about, you sent me a blog post you had done about, it's called Now What? Now what? You spent time and money on videos, and it's a good question. I've got this thing. Now what? How is this going to make me money, or how is this going to help my brand going forward? And so, hey, say hey, Cheryl. This is a working office. I'm trying to keep it down. So people are in and out. Sorry about that. So we have this content we've created. Now what? So answer that question for me. How did that blog post finish? And I'll share some link to that so people can find it. But
so yeah, it's like you said, like, we do all this. We spend a lot of money. We spend a lot of money on photos, videos. We spend time writing, blogs and stuff like that. And I think where it begins is you have to have the right mindset. So there's an amazing agent in San Diego. He's also a curator client, and I'm not trying to pitch curator, but we just have a lot of cool people from there. His name is Jason Cassidy. And I always remember what he said. People will ask all the time, like, how do you do like an ad to get a customer to buy right now? And what he said makes the most sense to me. He's like, I'm never going to do an ad where I'm going to get someone to buy a $750,000 house by doing one ad. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this brand awareness where I'm following them, where they see me, where all of a sudden, when they're interested in buying that $750,000 home, they'll think of me and they'll want to buy it. So back to the now what. When you do all this content, what you want to make sure is that people are seeing that content. You can do it numerous different ways. So for the way I do it, I do something called retargeting. So for those of you that don't know what retargeting is like going to a website and then you don't buy anything, and then all of a sudden you're on Instagram or Facebook and you see that object follow you around. Okay, so that's retargeting, remarketing. They call it many different things. So what the team and I do is we think of 3 categories of content that we create. One of the categories is showing that we do a good job at marketing. Maybe it's neighborhood marketing, maybe doing an interview with a restaurant, someone, a local person, but maybe doing a drone video of a neighborhood, just doing something where they see our marketing and they'll be like, wow, he does a good job or she does a good job of that. The next category we do is third-party testimonials, where basically where the customer is the hero and we're the guide. So like a lot of agents make the mistake of telling the world how great they are or how great their company is, and no one really cares outside of real estate about that. But what they do care about, and I'll give you an example. I had this couple, this family. They were moving, and this lady was a homeschool teacher, and they were moving to another part of the country. And we shared their story of their move, and they also shared what the team did to help them get there. And by doing that, it was a third-party testimonial where it showed that we helped them, but we weren't the main star of the story. It was, in this case, the carriers. The last part of content that we do is authenticity. So people will go on and they'll see a video of the team and I just doing things that have nothing to do with real estate, or they'll see an Instagram post and it'll show my wife and me. It'll show at our wedding, and it'll show that I met her on Match.com when I was 44, and basically authenticity part. So when you have these 3 categories, what you can do is you can use Facebook or Instagram, and you can spend $1 a day or more depending on what you want. And what we do is we will have this audience that we create. So we call it a super audience. So the super audience is made up of people that have engaged on our Facebook, our Instagram, our website, people that we've uploaded onto Facebook Ads Manager. So people would be like leads, or people that we sold in the past, or people that are within our sphere of influence, our database, maybe friends, family, whatever. So within all those groups is that audience. So what we do is we retarget those people all of these different pieces of content. So every month they're going to see probably 12 to 15 pieces of content, and they're going to connect with us. It's not going to be about real estate too much, because it's also hard to retarget people with real estate with all these privacy laws with Facebook and soon to be YouTube. But they get to know us, and it happens so often where these people off the street that I've never met before that are considering using me in casual conversation will ask me about my wife, and I never told her I was married. Or they'll ask me about Jade on the team by her hashtag, the runner. So by doing those things, because whoever we deal with, whoever sees our ads or our sponsored posts, are probably not going to want to do business for many, many years. And if we can create that connection, what'll happen is they're not going to want to interview anyone else. They're going to feel connected to us. They're going to feel like they have a family member or a very good friend in the business. So it only makes sense for them to reach out to us. So hopefully that helps basically explain some of the stuff that we do.
Yeah, no, and thanks for mentioning the whole authenticity thing, because I was going to ask you about that. I do like that strategy, being authentic. And with that being said, I'm going to play a part of your intro video, and let's talk about that a little bit. I'm sure, like a lot of real estate companies, we provide our agents a website and technology and stuff like that, and there's spots for your videos, and a lot of times it's just blank, and an agent won't have anything. Like you really need to create some sort of intro video. So let's look at yours, and then let's not intimidate people because it's very good. But let's talk about how you use this. Let's see. Go.
One of the most stressful things in life.
Can you hear it?
A little bit louder.
They're thinking of a million things. It's a roller coaster ride for them. And my job is to make that roller coaster ride like this. I don't mind sacrificing my personal life to help them while I'm with them. I've learned so much from my parents growing up. You know, that sacrifice and the commitment you have towards something.
Here.
I've seen it my whole life. There's not one day that.
Sorry, let's try this again, because
Okay.
you're saying it. I don't. Maybe it's and always technical glitches. This is a very authentic thing. Make sure I'm sharing the audio. Now let's see if this is better. Let me know.
I don't
Okay.
realize how.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's why.
One of the most stressful things in life is when a person is buying or selling a home. They're thinking of a million things. It's a roller coaster ride for them. And my job is to make that roller coaster ride like this. I don't mind sacrificing my personal life to help them while I'm with them. I've learned so much from my parents growing up. You know, that sacrifice and the commitment you have towards someone. I've seen it my whole life. There's not one day that I don't realize how lucky I am to have my wife. It's helped me a lot with my career in real estate. Many times you say something and then later on, maybe it's not convenient for you, but because your word means everything, you continue to go that route and you do what you promised. One of the parts of having a stronger family is having the right home where it works for you, where it works for your kids, and you're able to do more and you're able to feel that love together. That's my goal every day when I have my clients, to show them that, find things for them that maybe they can't see yet. I don't look at it as a short-term relationship. They know that the commitment is everything I think of the second I meet someone. That's what my job is all about.
We'll stop it there. Getting pop-ups, but so you know, that's amazing. That, and you know what I noticed is that you didn't say, not at least not in the first part of the video, how many awards you've won, how many millions of dollars you sell, anything like that. And you know, tell me your kind of your philosophy behind. We talked about authenticity, but this is a personal introduction video, and you know, it's probably something that somebody's either going to find or see on your website, or you're going to send to them maybe if you don't really know them. But tell me, how does this fit into your overall trying to acquire, let's say, a new listing or a new client overall?
Yeah, so there are a few things. So I think the best advice I could give someone is, the biggest problem with agents that we do, and I've been definitely guilty of this in the past, we always try and justify ourselves. We justify why we're good. We feel like we always have to prove ourselves. But if you look at it from a different angle and you speak to someone, pretend that person that you're speaking to is already going to hire you. Pretend that person is your family member or your friend. If that was the case, you would probably spend less time trying to tell the world how great you are or why you're good enough for the job. You're probably just going to listen to them. You're going to probably speak 10 or 20% of the time and let them talk the majority of time. Find out what they're interested in. So if you're asking your best friend about where they want to move, or about the sale of their home, you're not going to spend time telling them why your real estate company is the best. You're just going to listen to them. So as far as the personal introduction video, I have it on all my, it's on my signature of all my emails. and it's on everything on social. And what happens is, because if you don't tell the world how great you are, because at the end of the day, there's always going to be an agent that does better than you, most probably. And if I try and compete on awards or volume, there's a chance I'm going to lose. But I'm probably not going to lose that often if they see me as someone that they can relate to, where they know my story, where they followed me, where it's, imagine if you have a family member that's in the business and they do a decent job, you're probably going to hire them rather than look for the number one person in your market that sells more. So when I put the video on my signature, so it's a picture of the video, like a thumbnail, it's going to have like a play button, and when they press that, it's going to go to the video and they're going to be able to play it. So what it's done for me is it's helped when I present an offer. A lot of times the agent will watch it and they'll be nicer to me. If I'm talking to an attorney for a deal, they'll be nicer to me. And if I'm meeting a customer, a potential lead, they're nicer to me because they click on it. I'm not telling the world how great I am. I'm just telling them my story and how much their story means to me. So that helps quite a bit. And I would stress too that as far as awards and all that, try not to do that. No one cares. I had this conversation with a customer the other day. He was selling his house. It was an expensive house. It was like 2 million or whatever. And he came to me. He had interviewed quite a few people, and he told me, he's like, I'm really confused. And he was genuinely confused. I said, why are you confused? He told me, everyone is telling me they're number one. Every company is telling me they're number one. Who is number one? I said, well, I think the person who's number one is the person that you think will do the best job. It doesn't matter how many homes or properties that this company sold or the other company sold. It's who you feel best with. So we talk about number one too much, and we should just take that away.
That I want to show everybody here how you put it in your signature, and it's right there, right up front, and it's impossible to miss. So so that's, you know, if somebody has a question about how to actually do that, that's how you do it. But I agree with you on the constant ranking, because you're right. There could only be one person, one agent, one company that's number one. And how are you judging number one? Most of them judge it on production, but you see a lot of companies saying that they're number one, or agents saying that they're number one or the best. You know, that's very subjective. And if somebody says, how are you number one? You know, and they're like, well, I'm not really, but I thought it would be a good marketing tagline. Then that's not the way to go. But I like that approach for sure. You're right. It's very hard. Only one company can be number one. Only one agent can be number one. So you're right. You could lose on that. But the whole introduction video I thought was fascinating, and the way you went about it. So thanks for some insight into that. And I'm assuming how much of that did you do your own, or did you have somebody completely do all of it for you?
Yeah. So the way it works is, what happens, I didn't do it. I'm not the one who's smart. I just write the checks, you know? And so basically the way that interview works is, you can have someone interview you for like 30 minutes and just ask you a bunch of questions, and you just talk, and then they cut it up, and then they add like the B-roll or whatever, the video in the back end, and they put some music. It's not that difficult. You know, the easiest way is to, like I said before, go in a Facebook group, or go on Instagram, see stuff that people do. And, you know, those videos can be really expensive, or they can be not that expensive. It just depends the talent around you, you know, in your area. But that would be the best way to do it. Don't script it. Have someone just ask you a bunch of questions. Don't have a real estate agent ask you questions, because they're going to ask the wrong questions. Ask a person that is just off the street that would be interested in a story, and have them ask you questions, and then put it together.
Yeah, we had I had a guest a few weeks ago Bill Olson, who actually, he also does a lot of video, but he does literally everything himself. Shooting, scripting, cutting, everything. So it's good to see you can do it all yourself and you can have other people do it. It depends on your talent, skill level, if you like doing it or don't like doing it. I spoke to someone this morning who said, I love doing drone photography, but I hate splicing it all together and doing the editing. So it's good. And I guess probably Fiverr or anywhere, you could probably get people to edit videos.
Totally.
Yeah. So you said something earlier. I just want to question you about it. And we all struggle with this with being in real estate is despite what we're posting or promoting on Facebook, the platform snags you as being related to housing. And so if you want other content, if you have other content like blog posts or articles or whatever that that you want to put out there, are you branding yourself separately as just a person and putting that out, or are you branding it? Are you pushing it through your company Facebook page? How are you doing that to avoid so you can still be able to target people you want to target and not be doing going against the housing discrimination
Right.
laws?
So this is the easiest way you can do it. First of all, you want to try and get some intent of someone interested in the market or a property or something like that. So what you can do is you can do a just listed ad, you can do a price reduction, you can do whatever, something about a property. Once you do that, you'll have, I guess if you do it on the back on your business page, you'll have the Facebook pixel where it'll create this audience of those people that went to that ad. But then the next thing you do is you can retarget them to everything that has nothing to do with real estate. So you already have that intent on people that are looking in this market. So say, to give you an example, say you have a new listing in whatever area. So Hilton Head, right? So you have a video of a home in Hilton Head, and people are, maybe you have 50, maybe you have 2,000 people that see that video. You could retarget those people into other content. So where it would be authenticity, where it would be like great marketing, like neighborhood marketing. So it's not really housing. And within like the third party testimonial, I've been able to get away with it because Facebook, if it's a story about someone and it's not really telling like how I sold something, but they're sharing their story about how they move, Facebook will allow it. Sometimes they won't, but then you try to get them to relook at it, and a lot of times they'll say okay. So the way to do it, like I said, is in the beginning you do something real estate related, you get the intent, and that person gets added to your audience, and then you retarget them in different things. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense if I'm unmuted. So yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I know a lot of people probably don't know how to do that, don't understand how that works. It's just out of curiosity, what kind of budget do you have for social ads? And what would you say is your ROI if you can tell me what that is? What is your overall thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I would say this. So like if this is my budget for Facebook ads. So so out of those 12 to 15 pieces of content that I told you that we create in those three categories, the authenticity, the marketing, and the third party testimonials. And out of those three, I would say probably 80% is authenticity and maybe the rest is split up. So within those 12 or 15 pieces of ads or sponsored posts, we spend $1 per day on each one. So if I have 12 posts, and it's 30 days in the month, I'll spend $360. So the odds are the people in that super audience, where it could be like, I don't know, over time it adds up quickly. So you can have 10, 20,000 people. The odds are they're not going to see all of the ads, but they'll probably see at least 5 to 10 ads. and I would have only spent $360 and had a good amount of people seeing the content month in, month out, and they're getting to relate to us. So one of the big mistakes a lot of agents do, and I'm going to get to your ROI question in a second, is they try and get rid of the agents in the real estate agents from their marketing. And I don't think that's the right thing to do, because we leave everyone. And because of this, our team has gotten, within the last 2 years or so, we've gotten almost 40 agent referrals. And obviously 40 agent referrals, even though like a lot of them aren't great, but we will close millions and millions of dollars in agent referrals because they see our retargeting. And a lot of times I'll ask customers, like say I have a seller and they've hired me, and like later on during the transaction, I've asked a few times, I'll ask a seller like, I just wanted to ask you, how come you didn't like interview other people and you just hired me? I never knew you. How come you did that? And a lot of times they'll tell me that, you know what, prior to calling me to interview, they looked up online these other agents that they thought they were interested in, and they would see so much content from us, plus the retargeting that they saw from us, and they'll see the other agent, and that other agent is basically a ghost or a bragging ghost. The ghost where they have no content, or the person that's bragging about how great they are. So a lot of times we'll win appointments, win listings or buyers from never even competing. They competed online with us, but we never knew about it. So the ROI is ridiculously high. It's like amazing. There's nothing that has given us more money than doing this.
That's a really good strategy. And I'm going to steal that idea. So $1 a day. That's nothing, right? You can feed a starving child for $1 a day, or save a pet, whatever it is. So what do you feel like do you feel like social is still your best bet, or are there any other channels that you're using or exploring for your marketing?
Yeah, so two things. So one thing is social is huge. It's been really, really big for us. It's funny because I get comments all the time from people that are either realtors or they're not realtors, and they'll tell me like, do you ever work? You're always on like Facebook or Instagram. And then I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I smile and I just joke with them. But in my mind, I'm always working because I'm always on social. I'm always interacting with people. That is like, someone asked me the other day, what do I use for my CRM? And even though I do have a CRM, but my best answer to the CRM is my social, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. So, it's definitely huge. So another thing, like you asked me, is it just social or something else? So I do another thing every once in a while. So I think, a lot of things in real estate work really well for some people, but for me, I try and have a little spin on them or a little twist. So it's nice when people send like a holiday card or a birthday card or send someone something. It's good, but everyone is sending them something at that time. A better way, in my opinion, is to do this. And I'm going to give you two strategies real quickly. One is, like, say it's a random Tuesday and I text someone and I say, hey, John, this is Amit. Just drove by the Italian restaurant. I know when we spoke, you told me that you love this place. And I thought about you when I saw this. It's been so long since we've met. When COVID is done, it would be great if we can meet up and have lunch. So you're showing that person that you care about them on a random day, and you say something nice. You're not talking about real estate. You're not doing anything. Another strategy that I do is, so last year, it was a little bit different than this year because obviously 2019 is different than 2020. But last year, I looked up customers, whether it was these customers I sold them, 10 years ago or 5 years ago or a year ago. It didn't matter. So I thought I tried to think about someone's day. So the average person isn't lucky enough to work for a job that they love as much as I love my job. So they're going to work. They probably have a tough day. They get home and they probably didn't feel as appreciated as they should or they felt they should. And whatever, that's their regular day. So I thought maybe I could make an impact on one of their days. So what I did is I found this cookie company that's really good. It's called Hope's Cookies. I don't get anything for naming, their name. There's no sponsorship deal, but they're in Philadelphia. They ship all over the country. And so what I did is I thought if I can send them cookies, so basically it would be this. So John comes home from work. He's had a rough day, didn't feel appreciated. He comes home. He sees a UPS box. So he's like, oh, addressed to me. I wonder what this is. I didn't order anything. So they open it up. And then there's a letter from me, a short letter. It says, hey, John, this is Amit. Hope you're doing well. Hope life is great. Just wanted to tell you that I appreciate you and your family. All the best. That's it. And then I would write, P.S. I hope you like cookies because these are amazing to me. So the person feels appreciated. They feel gratitude from me. Then they got a gift that they feel happy that they got a gift. And then the cookies are great. And by doing this, and it would be on a random day, not on a birthday, not on anything. And they would feel really good about that. And it's funny, I got a call one day from a guy, and this was like 11 years I sold him prior. And he called me up. He was on the phone with his wife. And he's like, these cookies are great and way to stay relevant in our lives. So stuff like that I do. And there's some other things that I can do. If you want, I could talk more about it. But social is the high part, the majority of stuff, but also showing people that we care is huge.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And obviously we could talk about this all day long. I've got question after question, but we certainly respect your time. So we'll cover a couple of other things just real quick. So you did a video tour of Birdman's mansion that I'm curious about what your thought behind that was, because you weren't listing it, right? You were just there. So let's play a little clip of it. We won't play the whole thing, but just a little bit to give everyone some context, and then I'll let you talk about it afterwards. Let's see, where are we here? Make sure I share the audio for sure. There we go.
Home on 70 Palm Avenue. That is Birdman's home that's for sale.
So which Birdman? The Heat Birdman?
The rapper Birdman.
The guy who's worth half a million?
Yeah.
A lot of times homes like these that are multi-million-dollar homes, $15, $20 million, it's hard to actually see them in person. We make a point of seeing these homes because we get customers sometimes that are asking us about these types of places, and we get the most value by actually going in the house, seeing what works, what doesn't work. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. It's always important to know what your customers could want.
What did you get out of seeing the house today?
Well, I love the boat in the back.
Right.
Did we get film of that?
Yeah, we did.
Super cool. I love that it's solar powered and that all the water is rainwater.
So it's like a Tesla yacht, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
There is no motors, guys. It's all electric. We don't have gas. We do not have oil.
The razor that I would throw here would be
All right, so that's about half, or a little bit more than half. But so basically you're doing a Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous video. Tell me what brought that about, and where that idea came from, and what did it ultimately, what did it result in?
Yeah, so I think as an agent, we should always think of different ideas to not do the norm. And no matter where we live, there are always going to be nice homes, and there are going to be opportunities. So if you live in an area where they have brokers opens or open houses, so I'll give you an example in this case. So I had an agent. He called me up. He was from a different company, and he said to me, "Would you like to go to this brokers open? It's for Birdman's house." And then I said, "Is it okay if I bring the videographer, our videographers there?" And he's like, "Hang on, let me check. Call me back." And he's like, "Yeah, sure." So because there was an opportunity there, we thought we should share it. And I told him, we'll have we'll have your information in it. We're not going to pretend like it's our listing. And from doing that, it's funny because MTV Cribs, they actually linked that to one of their suggested videos. And from that, we got over 250,000 views on it. So what it does is, again, it's branding. It shows that you can create content that you can get engagement for. Also, I've had multiple clients tell me that they've watched it. I've had other clients reach out to me because they've seen that video. And multiple good things happen when you do something differently. And it also gives you respect within real estate when you do something different and it's more entertaining than just doing a boring video. And it makes you think outside the box. It makes you more creative. And by doing that, it just makes you a better agent, better marketer.
Well, I thought that was really creative, and I'm glad to hear that it was a broker open. I mean, that's definitely thinking outside the box for sure. So we have celebrities here, but they're very, very hush hush, it seems like. So you don't know who lives where, but that's a great idea regardless. So, I mean, I have loved everything we've talked about today. I mean, I certainly respect your time and appreciate your willingness to give it up for us today. It is Friday afternoon. I'm sure you've got houses to sell and better things to do. But if somebody wants to connect with you, I have a few things here. How can they best connect with you?
So a few years back, I created the hashtag for me, the Indian Realtor. We also have a show that we do. We have a videographer. Before COVID, they would follow us 12 hours a week, and we created this show. And if you want to see that show, it's allinmiami.tv, allinmiami.tv. And just to let you guys know, whoever's watching this, whether you're a new agent, old agent, and you just want help, if you want to help in marketing, I never mind helping you. I don't mind spending half an hour to an hour on the phone or whatever to help you with your business. And I expect nothing in return. I don't want to ask you at the end, hey, by the way, if you have someone looking to buy in Miami, I don't care. If I could build my relationship with you and I can help you, it makes the business better. So if you need help, just reach out.
And I'm sorry, I completely lied about being done. I have one more question. So you are, and I love that. I showed your All in Miami show page, which is also linked on your email. But then going back to the Now What article, this article was written by you, an agent, designed to help other agents, or I guess content creators of any kind. So what is your thoughts behind, just giving away your stuff for free, giving them, having that, just put it out there. This is how I do it. This is what I do. And just kind of give me a little quick thought process there.
You know what it is? It's like in life when you do something and you can help someone, and I'm not trying to say like I'm this great guy or not, but when you do something nice and you can affect someone's life in a positive way, it feels good. It feels really good. I remember a while back, I was helping another agent on expired calls, and 2 months later, she messaged me and she said, "Thank you so much. I got 7 listings using what you told me." And it made me feel better than if I would have got those 7 listings. So at the end of the day, no matter if I teach you or you teach me, people are going to hire us because we're us, not because of what we say usually. Because if you're a decent agent, it just boils down to that person feeling comfortable with you or not. So it doesn't matter when you share. It makes life better.
Right. And you mentioned Gary Vee earlier. It's kind of like what he says: give all your stuff away for free. But anyway, sorry I threw that in at the end. But this has been amazing. I'm really glad to get to know you a lot better and had this conversation and get to know what goes on in your thought processes with real estate marketing, because it's very impressive. It's very, I'm sure it's impressive for clients if it's impressive for other agents. So thank you again for your time. I hope you guys have stay safe in Florida. Having a lot of cases down there, but stay safe, but still try to have fun.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It was a pleasure meeting you. Hopefully I can see you at the next conference, which is whenever.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope so. Again, thank you very much. I hope, somebody said thanks for the great insight. And so we'll end with that. Appreciate it again, Amit. Thank you.
Awesome. See ya.